Hello, everybody. It's me, your favorite artist and animator, Christopher Williams. Today I'm going to be teaching you a little bit about art and how art can be applied to animation. Because you remember the last lesson, I taught you a little bit about animation. Basic things like flow, why is that important, stretch, all of those fun things that make animation so amazing. So I taught you a little bit like frame by frame animation, right? Well, what is a frame? A frame is that individual art piece that is drawn, or it can be 3D animate, it can be 3D figures, but it's a picture that we play in sequence in order to show motion, right? So, in order to have motion, you need those individual pictures. And that's where the artist comes in. All right, so I want you, since we're going to be teaching art again, and we want to get those creative juices flowing, right? Get up on your feet. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Stretch, 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 right? And get ready for our favorite song, right? Oh, I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I truly like to be. Or if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, everyone would be in love with me. All right, that was fun. Let's try it this time with a British accent. You think you can do that? All right, let's try it. So, I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I'd truly like to be. For if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, everyone would be in love with me. All right, so I hope your juices are fully flowing and we're ready to teach you a little bit about art. Now, I'm not going to get into the intense nitty gritty parts of art because I want you mainly to have fun. There are a lot of different types of art. There is realism, there is cartoons, there is surrealism, the like Picasso and so on. There's so many different artists from long back in the day with Leonardo da Vinci to more modern times. Um, I can't think of a favorite anime artist, but there's Tito who does the art for Bleach. That's a favorite by many. And so all of the things around you that you see, like the background here, all of this stuff was done by an artist, right? And so you may be feeling like, well, all of those people were super talented people. I could never get into becoming that talented. Well, here's a little secret. Most artists aren't talented. Talent isn't actually a thing. Talent isn't real. What it takes to be a good artist and a good anything in life is practice, dedicated practice. And so for me, for example, I have been drawing since I was 3 years old, which means, to give my age away, I have been drawing for 28 years. Isn't that crazy? 28 years of practice. And yeah, I still have so much room to improve because art takes practice. And if you want to become a good artist, a good student, a good anything, It's going to take practice. And don't be afraid to make mistakes, because that is how you become a better artist, by practicing drawing your heart out, putting it on a paper, or in our case, a digital tablet on your computer, and being dedicated. If you want to become good at drawing trees, you have to draw as many trees as you can possibly handle. If you want to become better at drawing faces, like my cute face right here, you have to be willing to draw as many faces as you can. And it's important to draw every kind of face, every kind of person, features that you can think of, right? Because again, it's not about talent. People aren't born naturally talented. Yeah, you may say, oh, that person is better at this than me, and he or she didn't put in as much effort. But I can guarantee you, if you put in those hours of practicing your art, making sure to practice your lines, practice circles, practicing drawing eyes, you will become better. And that is the importance of practicing. So now, why is art important, right? Art, as I said, can be applied to every aspect of life. If you go outside right now and look at anything, all of those things, some artist, I can guarantee you, was involved in that. If you look at the McDonald's down the street, those golden arches, an artist thought to create that arch, right? If you look at your house, that the building that you live in, an artist laid together that foundation. They drew it on likely a piece of paper or on a computer and laid out that that room that you currently live in. Because art is in every single aspect of your life, right? Even this phone that I'm recording on, it took an artist to design that shape. It took an artist to design something that they knew would be appealing to you, because they want to make you happy, and they know that art is that way to make people happy, right? So if you want to become a better artist, what is it that you would need, right? Um, the first thing is, as I said, practice, but you can get books. Books are one of the most common ways and the most ancient way of creating of learning either techniques in the type of art style that you want to do your work in. Books are the best way of seeing other people's art styles and maybe trying to imitate their art style until you learn your own. Another awesome resource, which is probably where you're going to get, honestly, the majority of your practice, is on the internet. So there's so many websites that you can go to. There's DeviantArt, there's YouTube, you can just do a simple, quick Google search on how to draw fire, how to draw a house, how to draw a person. Me, anytime that I need to brush up on something, that's what I go on. I go on YouTube, I'll go on Google, I'll type how to draw hair, right? Because this hair doesn't always come naturally, even though it is my natural hair. How to draw, yeah, hair, how to draw fruit. You'll find so many resources that is willing to teach just about anything that you could possibly care about, believe me. Um, but if you don't have the book, you don't have the internet, you can probably go to your teacher, find a teacher, find someone who you think is good at art, and just ask them, hey, how do I draw X, Y, and Z? I want to become better at this. Can you teach me? there are a lot of people who are more than willing to teach you the basics of their technique or what it is that they like to do. And they're usually willing, if you ask them nicely, remember to ask them nicely, they're usually willing to teach you all the things that they like to do, right? So remember, you have books, you have internet, you have people. Just be sure to go out there and practice, right? Get your handy dandy pen, or you can draw with pencils, you can draw with charcoal, you can draw with crayons, you can draw with pencil crayons, you can draw with mud, you can draw with anything as long as you have a surface to put it on. I've seen people draw with sand. Hopefully one of you guys will one day show me your masterful art piece that you've done with one of those one of those wonderful materials that I just talked about, right? All right, so as I said, in order to do animation, you need pictures to animate, right? And on your computer, which is what we'll be using, again, there's so many different software that we can use to create art pieces, right? So there, as I said, there is Photoshop, which is one of the most common, Adobe Illustrator, um, there is GIMP, which is what we'll be using. There is Sai, there is Corel. There's a lot of different art software. Why we'll be using GIMP is because GIMP, G-I-M-P, GIMP is free. It's a free software that you can use. You don't have to subscribe to anything. It's not a free trial. You just download it. It's a free software because it's crowdsourced and it's crowd-funded. And because of that, they're constantly updating their features. GIMP is so wonderful. I used it when I was creating my first children's book. Lume, little plug, Lume, Lumeh, which is available on Amazon and all of that. I used GIMP to create the illustrations for that book. I also used it to create the illustrations for Julie's puppies. But as I advanced, I used Photoshop because Photoshop is just as good. And if you want to, there's also Illustrator, which is also a fantastic software to use. But as I said, we're going to be using GIMP because GIMP is free and it is not as soft, it's not as GPU and RAM intensive as Photoshop because it's a smaller file. Your parents won't be mad if you download it. Okay. All right. So GIMP also has the ability to be transferred, to transfer the files over into Spine. And Spine is the final animation software that I'll be teaching you on. And that's why we're going to be teaching you the basics of GIMP because it's also compatible with Spine. And I think that's quite important. All right. So as I said, today I'll be teaching you the basics of GIMP, how to get familiar with it, and little techniques and things of how to become a better artist. All right. So right now, obviously, there's no computer here, so I need to be able to switch over onto our computer. So through the magic of editing, I am going to switch over into my room. All right, take care. Hello again. All right, so through the magic of editing, we are now in my room. Now, I'm not going to give you the tour of my room because, like your room, I'm sure you don't want everyone seeing all the stuff that you have laying around, right? All right, so what we're going to be doing is teaching you the basics of GIMP. Now, as I said, GIMP is an amazing free software. Um, it's a lot of really cool artwork has been created using GIMP. All right, so the first thing you do is open up GIMP, right? The version that I have is the latest version. What they do, they will automatically uh, update your software, right? So you shouldn't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. So we have GIMP open, right? And to create a new um, a new file, what you want to do is go to File, New, and you'll see it says Create a new image, right? What that is, you'll see the template. You don't have to worry about the template for now, but just to show you, it shows you all the different types of DPI, which DPI means the amount of pixels that are on the screen, and the size of the document that you want to, the size of the art piece, the canvas that you want to create, right? So you don't have to worry about that for now. So you'll see here, PX, that means pixels, and it will show you how many pixels are on the screen that you want to create art for. So let's change that, however, to inches, because for me, I work better with inches, and that tells you, so you can see here, you have inches, you have millimeters, you have points, centimeters, all of this, but I'm most familiar with inches, and I'm sure you're probably more familiar with inches also. So we'll go here, right? We'll change, just to make it easy, we're going to change it to 12. Oop, 12, and change your height to 12. All right, now you see there's advanced settings. We don't really have to worry about this right now. So we'll just do that. And if when you're ready to create your art piece, you press OK, right? And as you can see, it creates this awesome large canvas for you to work on. All right, so let's show you some basics of GIMP. Right now, as you can see, I have my icon is right here in the middle, and you can see that there's a brush icon over it, right? Over the cursor. That's to indicate the type of tool that you're using. If we go up here, you can see that you can, if you hold it still, that's the move tool. If you want to move things, that is what you press to use that. There are all these different tools that you can use. If you want to select, if you want to crop, which crop means cut down the canvas to a certain size, that is what we'll use. However, we just want to create art. You're like, get to the art part, Chris. So in that case, we have the paintbrush tool. And that is the tool that you'll most likely be using for the majority of all your artwork, right? Because this is what we paint with. You have, if you want to erase, we have the eraser tool right here. And as I said, if you want to smudge, if you want to clone, if you want to create a clone of a part of the piece, if you want, I'll go into the details of what paths is. And if you want to create text, if you want to write something underneath your art piece, that's what you would use. We have the color picker, which as it suggests, you use that if you wanted to, if you lost the type of color that you're using and you want to pick a new piece, that is what you use. And this is to this magnifying glass, like what all magnifying glasses do, is zoom, right? So you'll also see if you hold down on the paintbrush, if you hold down like that, you can change it from paintbrush, pencil, airbrush, ink, or if you have your own personal type of brush, you can use that also. For the paint bucket, what does paint bucket do? A paint bucket fills up the screen or fills up a selected section with that color that you've selected, right? You can also do gradients, and gradient means that it can smoothly transfer from one color into another color, right? So these are the tools that are available in GIMP. You can see here, this is your color picker. You get two color pickers. One you can set for your foreground, one for your background. If you click it, it will bring up all the different colors that you can use currently, right? So like if you want to go to red, or if you want to go to blue or green or yellow or orange, you just click this section right here, or you can drag it and you can see all the different types of colors that you can go through. The other thing is, as I said, if you want to, you can click in this section right here and you'll see the gradient or the saturation, which saturation means how bright the colors are. So right now, if I was here, you can see this is the type of red or more pinkish. But if I want it more saturated, that means I want it more colorful, right? I can drag it over here and it becomes super saturated, super red, very bright. If I want it darker, you can drag it down, down till it becomes completely black. All right. So for now, we're just going to leave this at black and we're going to press OK, right? Now, if I wanted to switch the color over to say, to use this color section, as you can see, I just press this right here and it will switch over. So I can click that and now I want to choose a second color to have. So I will use red and you click it and now I have available to me both the colors red and black, right? And if I want to switch over when this one is on top, that becomes the active color. And just to demonstrate, well, actually I won't demonstrate it right now, but these are your color pickers. Now, if I want to just switch it quickly back to black and white, you just click this right here and you'll notice that the colors switch back. So as I said, if I want to do a foreground color, I can click it and click OK. If I want to switch it and switch it, say, to blue, you just switch it to the color that you want and you click OK. And now you have those two colors that you can use. And if you want to switch it back to black and white, all you have to do is click the middle, right? It's super simple, very easy, as you can see. Now, one of the things you'll see up here, you have things like layers. And I want to drag down here. You can see that this large canvas that we have right here, it is the background. So this is our background right here. But what if I don't want to draw on my background? Because as you said, when we're going to switch over to animation, it's going to be very important um, that you don't have a background, right? That you don't have this as your background. You don't want just a big white screen as your background in your animation, because then what about the pretty trees and all of that, right? Okay, so what we want, and the wonderful thing about digital art is you can create multiple layers, right? And as you become more advanced in digital art, you'll realize that your layers are your everything. Because having been able, we'll show you the magic of it. If you go down to the lower right-hand corner, you'll see right here, you see it says create new layer, and you just click it and GIMP will give you the options here of you can name your layer. So let's name our layer, this layer, line art, right? Oh, terrible spelling. It's okay, line art. If you wanted to, you can also assign that layer a color. But for now, we will leave this blank. There are also different modes that you can create that layer in, but for now, we will leave it as normal. All of these different options, however, I can guarantee as you become more advanced, you will use them. For me, I use the screen filter a lot, which allows certain colors to highlight more than others. There's multiply, which again allows it. All of these things affects the colors of your art piece and the shadows and all of that in different ways. So for now, we'll just leave it at normal, right? And as I said, you can change the opacity. And what does opacity mean? Opacity versus transparency is how much you can see something. So we'll explore that in a little bit. So for right now, to create a new layer, you just click OK, right? And you can see that now we have a new layer that is called line art. And that's amazing, right? Because let's see, we are going to attempt now with my handy dandy pen and my handy dandy screen. I'm using a Hue on Canvas, by the way, in case you're wondering what kind of art tablet that I'm using. We are going to now draw in this layer. So here we go. Boom. Look at that. I just made a circle. Not a very good circle, but as I said, with practice, you'll become a better artist. So don't be concerned that your circle looks a little lopsided. Believe me, here's a little secret. Most artists draw circles pretty lopsided. All right, so that is how we just drew a circle in this layer over here. Now you see this eye icon right here. If you click it, it disappears, right? Because the eye icon allows you to see that layer. Now, let's do have a little fun here. If I will create a new layer, right? And we will name this layer color, right? Color, and press OK, right? So now we have two layers. We have color layer and we have line art layer. Now, if we wanted to switch layers, and this is very important, you need to click it. And you see when you click it, it now becomes highlighted, right? So we have color and we have line art. Now, to be non-destructive, we are going to use the select tool, which is what looks like this magical wand over here. And we are going to, when we're in the line art layer, select it. And as you can see, you see that it selects only the inside of that circle, right? So now we're going to switch over to color. And let's pick a color like red, right? And we're going to use our paint bucket, which, as I said, what does paint bucket do? It fills up spaces. So if now, remember, make sure that you're in the right layer, which in this case is color. And if you click on the inside, it fills up that entire space, right? That's amazing. Now, if I were to select out why did we do the select? So that if I were to try and, I'm clicking, uh-oh, it's not working because it's only filling up the inside. Now let's switch over to blue so I can demonstrate, right? So I'm clicking outside, as you can see, and nothing's happening because it's selected. Now, if I click on the inside, boop, it switches to blue. That is the importance of the select tool. It's really handy when it comes to your artwork, okay? All right. Now, if I want to deselect, I can click select here and then select none. That's very important. As you can see, now that layer there isn't there anymore. All right, now why do we have two layers? Because here's the magic. I can turn off one layer, as you can see, now the blue isn't there, but the line art is still there. Or if I wanted to turn it back on or turn off the line art layer, now the color is there, but the line art isn't there. So that is why that is the wonderful thing about digital art, is that you can create multiple layers of of different things that you want to work on specifically. It's super cool. As you can see in the paint bucket tool, you can fill it with color, or the foreground color or the background color, or you can choose patterns and all of that. All of those are a little advanced for now, so we won't be tackling it. So that is the basics. If I wanted to, say, go to paintbrush, and you can see down here, right? Down here, I can toggle with the size of the paintbrush, or if I can drag it. So if I wanted to drag it, you can see now, oh, that is much bigger. So let's see, boom, that is much bigger if I wanted to color in this space, right? Or I can make it small, super, super small. And now, oh, yep, it's barely there, right? These are other things where you can change the aspect ratio or the angle of the brush, the spacing between in the brush, all of these things that you can play with as you become more advanced. All right. So if I wanted, now because this is a little messy, I want to delete this layer. You can turn it off, but say I just don't want it there at all, right? I can either right click on it, and I can now click delete layer. Make sure, however, that you've selected the correct layer that you want to delete, and make sure that you definitely want to delete it. So we're going to click delete, and you can see the entire layer is no longer there, right? However, the wonderful thing about digital art, say you make a mistake, you can go to edit, and you can do undo remove layer. And now it's right back there, as you can see. That is a wonderful thing about digital art, and that is why I personally use digital art and use GIMP, because it's super cool. If you make a mistake, you can recover from it, and that's kind of a lesson in life, that you can always recover from your mistakes. All right, so I actually don't want this layer. So what I'm going to do, I can also go down here, right? And you see it says in that lower right-hand corner, it says delete layer. So I'm going to click delete, and it deletes it as well. So we have two techniques of how to delete layers. Again, if I wanted to create a new layer, I can click either down here, create layer, or I can go up here where it says layer here, and I can create a new layer there as well, right? So we're going to do create a new layer, and we'll create, as I said, color. And actually, say I want to erase, I'm now in my line art layer, and I want to create something a little more enjoyable than a circle, right? So what I will do, I can just erase and erase, or I can create a larger thing, and boop, erase. Awesome. Now let's switch over to black, and let's see, what should we draw? I like cats. Let's draw a cat, right? So now I have here, I'm going to switch this down a little bit and let's draw the face of the cat. All right, now let's see here. Drawing my cat, drawing my cat, drawing my cat, drawing my cat. All right. Mm, let's do that over. I don't like that cat very much. All right, so I can undo the paintbrushes that I make. I can undo the paintbrush strokes. So as you can see here, I just click undo, and all of a sudden, all those strokes that I make are being undone. That's pretty amazing, right? Okay, so I've undone everything. Oop. If I wanted to, I could also undo the paint. I could undo the erasing that I did, but I won't focus on that. All right, so let's see. Let's change my hardness down a little bit so it's not as super hard. And what else shall we do? Let's change the spacing. Let's put that down a little bit. And just there. Okay, let's try this again. And oh, let's try and make sure that you have this right thing selected. And okay, so there we go. All right, we're on line art. And let's see, a cat. Let us draw a cat. All right, boom. Cats have a little nose, right? Cute little nose. And we'll do that. Boop, 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 boop. And there we go. It's a little rough, but that's perfectly okay. So this is the head of the cat, right? Um, if I wanted to, I can like erase a little bit of that. If I want to zoom in, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so that is the head of our cat. And that's inline art. As you can see, I can turn it on and off. All right, now why is it important to have layers, especially when it comes to creating art that we want to eventually put into Spine? You want to make sure that you have multiple layers, right? So that when we transfer it over to Spine, we can play with the individual pieces. All right, so this is just the head, right? Now, it's a cat, right? A cat needs a face. So we are going to add a new layer and we're going to call this one face, right? Now, what does our cat need? Our cat needs eyes. Let's go with eyes. Let's go with another eye right here. Do, 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 do. Boom, eyes, right? And the cat needs eyebrows. I think I want my cat to have eyebrows. Do, 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 do. Pretty little eyebrows. Okay, a cat also needs a nose. So we're going to give this kitty cat a nose. Boop, 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 right here. And what else does a cat need? Cat needs a mouth. So we're going to give that cat a mouth. Little cat mouth right here. Do, 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 do. It's a little rough, but that's perfectly okay. Let's erase a little bit of that. Okay. All right. Now because I want to eventually animate this, I want to give them a separate pupils, right? So we'll create another. I will call this, let's put it as pupils. Yes, the irises, but that's perfectly fine. All right. So we have our eyes right here. Let's fill it in. That's okay. And let's give him eyes right here. Do, 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 do. Okay, now what else do we know about cats? Let's give them ears, right? Cats need ears. So let's put that in a different layer as well. Okay, so let's name this one ears. And let's put R so that we know that it's the right ear. All right, so right ear, and let's put that here. Okay, that is amazing. And let's create another one. And let's label this left ear. Ear left, L for left. And now, do, 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 do. Now we have a kitty cat with amazing ears. All right, so that is the basics. As you said, we taught you how to do multiple layers. For now, we can fill in the colors. And what color should our cat be? Our cat, let's make our cat orange, because I like orange cats. And let's increase the size because we are coloring, and I do like to have a bigger thing. All right, as you can see here, so now we have our colors, right? So let's start coloring. All right, here we go. Do. Oh no, what is happening? I'm coloring and it's coloring over the layer. No, we're losing it. What is happening? Well, as you can see, it happens because if you look over here, we have our color layer, right? And the color layer is over all the other layers. So what does that mean? It means that you are going to see this color over every other color and over every other layer. So what do we do to fix that? All you have to do is go to color and drag it all the way down here, right? Oh, and there's everything else. It's all of it gets restored back because now the color layer is underneath the line art layer right here and the face and all of those, right? So that is one of the other amazing things about having different layers. So what are we going? We're going to now, oof, that is a relief, right? So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna just continue coloring in on the inside. As you can see now, oop, there we go, there we go. And we're gonna color it in. It doesn't have to be perfect. And now we have completed our art piece, right? So now we've colored it in. Now we have a pretty, let's also color in here. We have a pretty orange cat. Now, if you want to, you can, again, switch over colors here. Let's switch it to white so that his eyes are white. Oh, it's okay. You don't have to get it perfectly. But say I want to switch over back to this orange, right? However, oh, uh-oh. That's a good thing about making mistakes in digital art. You can always undo, right? But I've now, let's see, you can drag so I can zoom in on a very specific point. Uh-oh, as you can see, now we have the white that is outside of that line part, right? But I don't have the exact orange that I was using before. That is why we have the eyedropper tool. So as you can see, the eyedropper tool here, I just clicked it, and you want to hover over the color that you want to select, and you just click it. And as you can see, now you have that color again. So we can switch, and let's make this a little smaller since we're now more zoomed in, right? And now we can color back to the color to our heart's content. Okay. All right. Right. So let's zoom out. So if you want to zoom out, you can click zoom out right here, and you can click it, or you can, let's see, auto resize. Let's zoom back in. You can go down to here. Let's see. And you can, if we go too far in, you can go down to right here and you can click 100%. And it will restore this to size 100. That's a bit too much. Let's go, let's go down to 50, which is about where we were. Or let's go to 25. There we go, right? So as you can see, we have now drawn a cute little kitty cat using the techniques and some of the basic stuff of Gimp, right? So, and the next lesson, we're going to probably complete this cat. I don't know. If you want to draw something else, you can always draw something else. But we taught you the importance of having different layers that you can turn them off, you can turn them on. We taught you line the different stuff. You can, that the eye, if you want to turn it on and off, make it visible or non-visible. In the background, if you wanted to turn off the background, you can turn off the entire background if you wanted to, and you can see this is how it looks without the background, right? I taught you the basics of the paintbrush, the paint bucket, how to fill in spaces, what the paintbrush is for, eraser, all of these things. And I taught you how to create layers, how to create different layers, why do we need different layers, and if I wanted to group all of the face things together, let's show you, you can go to create a new group layer. So why do we need to do that? Let's show you, and this will probably be the last thing. So I've now created a layer group, and as you can see, it looks kind of like a folder, right? Now I can move this up here just to make it easier. And now, what do I want in there? Do I want ears? No, I don't want the ears, but I do want like the pupils. You can drag it in like a folder, and now the pupils are in the layer group, right? And I want the face in there. So all you have to do is drag it up, and now you can see, now there are two layers in this layer group. And I want the, no, I don't want the line art. So I just want the pupils and the face, right? I can collapse this if I want, but now look at this. Now, if I press this, everything in the face that disappears, right? I can now turn it on. If I wanted to, I can turn on and off the individual parts in there, as you can see. But if I wanted to turn all of them off at the same time, I can turn off the entire group. And that is amazing, right? If I don't want to necessarily take up space on the screen, I can collapse it, right? That is why we have it. And if I wanted to change the opacity of the entire group, as you can see here, I can toggle that on and off, or I can do it individually. So that is pretty much all of the basic things about GIMP. We'll expand a little more in as we go along, but as I said, this is the basics of creating artwork on GIMP. So the most important thing that I want you to learn is remember, art is about practice. And you're not going to be the best artist in the beginning, right? The most important thing is not to compare yourself to other people, but to practice on your own, to become the best artist for yourself. That is what you want to do. As long as you love your artwork and you love yourself and you practice as much as you can, you will become better. And that's what life is about, becoming a better person. Why do these artworks matter? Because you matter as an individual. You could be a girl, a boy, in between, you could be black, white, and all the other spectrum of human beings. It is important to be able to express yourself because your voice matters. And it's important to know that your voice matters. And so, if you have a wonderful thing in art that you want to express, then go ahead, go do it because you matter. All right. So I just want to make sure that you know that and that I look forward to seeing the wonderful things that you create sooner or later. All right. Take care of yourself. Bye.